Hi everybody, this is Sam with Python Basics, and this week we learned how to create a new sprite object. Then we moved back to pandas and learned how to use the readExcel function. Then after that we learned how to do a select statement with SQL. Then we learned how to make a very simple kivy app and learned how to create a new kivy file. Then after that we learned how to do a button for tkinter with the ttk module, and we're going to continue back with Pygame, and more specifically with sprite objects. So we created last time, if you were here, we created a sprite group object. So very important, if you're new here, please hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of these, because we build one thing on another. So alright, a sprite group object is to contain our, let's see, alright, that holds all our sprite objects that we want. It's a container. That's all it is. It's a container. So alright, now we need to build our sprite objects. So alright, this can get very complicated very quickly, but we're going to take it one bite at a time. Saw that in a comment a little while ago. Thought it was very cool. One bite at a time. So alright, as we've been learning and as we've been advancing, we've been learning about inheritance. So Pygame is very sophisticated, so it has a little bit of extra ground rules in inheritance. So when you're going to use a sprite, and this is in the documentation, this is from the creators of Pygame, so if they suggest it, do it. They're saying it for a reason. So alright, so when you're creating a sprite and you're inheriting a sprite.sprite, so right now we're going to be creating a sprite object. We created a sprite group last time. This is going to be a sprite object. And the way that you do this is, so we're going to be creating our own objects, right? So we're going to create a block, and we're going to inherit Pygame dot sprite, and it's capital for the sprite object inheritance. Okay, so now, and it says you need to inherit the double underscore init method along with the image method, along with the image fill, and now we're going to touch on this in a minute. Bear with me. So alright, let's go one thing at a time. Oops, let's bring this back up. So alright, so we need to get our double underscore init method, init, and it's just going to inherit self, then the color of the block, then the width of the block, and the height of the block. Alright, so now we then need to inherit the init method from sprite. Does that make sense? We're creating our, you have to do both. So we're not reinventing the wheel. If somebody's already done it, and that's what's so awesome about Python, it's inheritance. So alright, dot init, and then just self, if I can spell self. So okay, oops. Alright, so now the actual image, the dimensions. So alright, self dot image, so Pygame dot surface, just something to draw, then give it the width and the height that we're gonna take in, and there we go. Now what color? So we got to fill it, right? This is a sprite fill. It's going to take in the color. Now this is where it gets really weird, that took me a little while to wrap my head around. So alright, the thing about sprites is they have a boundary. I remember when one of my kids was explaining to me the hitbox, if you've heard that. So basically the dimensions around it, but it's going to form a rectangle. So alright, so we create the rectangle, then Pygame will even help us. So image dot get rect. So it will actually go and get our dimensions around this, find it, and then self do this for us. So now, one thing that we need to add, and if we read very closely right here, we also have to give it a X and a Y. And we'll do more later about this because we can get very sophisticated very quickly. But it's self.rect.x, and we're going to put it right in the middle of our screen. So 600 divided by 2, and self.rect.y equals, that was poor, x divided by 2 and y divided by 2. So there we go. Now, there are 3 more steps we have to do, but this is all we're going to do because it has more to do with the sprite group. So we just created our class by inheriting from our sprite, and we're going to go from there next time. This is run a little bit over. We're at like 7 or so minutes. So this is how you inherit a sprite object to your new class to create a new personalized sprite object for Pygame. So there we go. And we're going to continue on with our time with pandas. So we've done a lot of stuff with pandas, read CSV. So we're going to be looking at pandas read Excel. So there are CSV files, and then there are just Excel files, and that's what we're going to do. So very important, if you're new here, thanks for joining us. If you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and the notification bell, because this is what we do. We build from one thing to the next, and this is what I'm going to show you. So alright, I will put this address down in the description, but if you have no idea what this is, I'm going to put a card up right here, and that will, let me make a note at 1 minute. Card to we build upon. So this actually just goes to the website, grabs the file, puts it in the directory. Alright, moving on. So pandas can handle all types of files. CSVs are not the same as standard XLS, XLXS. I can't even remember them all. But gladly or luckily, pandas handles all of this for us. Alright, let's not forget to import pandas as PD. So it actually, I was surprised how difficult it was for me to find a file that was a standard Excel, but it turns out to be a jewel, because we are also going to look at skiprow. And then also, I guess I haven't used the regular interpreter, so I ran into an issue, and that's what we try to do here, is make your life easier. So let's just do it. Data frame dot pandas dot read Excel, and we're just going to give it, and I'm going to copy this so I don't misspell in front of you. And it's alright, let's bring this in to memory. Now I've already downloaded it because I wanted to make sure that was the only error that it was going to have. So alright, if you get a whole bunch of errors and you see that you are missing a current XLRD for the pandas package, just go ahead and do pip install XLRD and it will solve your problem, and then rerun it and you're good. So alright, now check this out. Dataframe dot head. This is all the garbage. Let's see, that's not what I wanted. This is what I wanted. So let's look and see what this is doing. Aha! So let's make sure you can't see all of it, but it doesn't matter. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 rows of notes of where it came from, who did it, blah, 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 blah. Maybe a little bit of a header, but here's our real header right here. So this is where this feature comes in. And I said 7, so skip. Okay, you can still see it. Oops, I'm typing in the wrong spot. Forgive me. Skip rows 7. Now let's rerun this. And I need to close this out. And there we go. So dataframe dot head. And here we go. So now there's our header, and here are our rows. So boom, that is how you handle a file that has a bunch of garbage that you don't care about, and you literally just skip those rows. Then pandas knows to go skip those 7, then go from there. So absolutely wonderful, powerful tool, and we are just gonna mess around with this going forward, do a little bit of cool stuff. We are going to continue back with numpy. So we're gonna learn about something that's very handy with numpy. So alright, this is what we do here. We build one topic on another. So we just build and learn more and learn more and learn more, a little deeper dive, and we go from there. So alright, we're going to learn about the ones and zeros function. So it's pretty cool. So alright, x dot numpy ones, and we're going to do 2D array, so 2 by 3, close that out, and then we are going to do numpy zeros, just a 1D, print x, y. So alright, this is what I love about this. So alright, this is literally what, let me make sure you guys, okay, I was worried it was out of frame. So alright, literally numpy just creates an array, an numpy array full of ones, a 2 by 3, and then I say I need an array of 1D 5 deep of zeros, and numpy goes, I gotcha. So just especially if you want to start a starting point 0 or a starting point of 1, it is unbelievably handy. So just a real quick video today of just an awesome tool to have in your toolkit, and to make sure that you knew about it, because I can't believe that I haven't touched on it yet. So I grouped these together because they're pretty self-explanatory, but I wanted to make sure we did it and covered it. And we're just going to continue on with our SQLite. So, all right, last time we learned how to insert data into our database. So now, SQLite select. So now we need to learn how a database or SQL handles a search. So its keyword, the SQL language for a search, is select. So we don't need this, and we don't need this. And let me make sure we can see this. So there we go. Let's put that back. So all right, we're going to make a cursor because it is a execute object, and it is select. We're going to, star means everything, so we're gonna start with our star, everything. Select star from students. Close that out. Now, this is the weird part. Cursor dot fetch 1, and we're gonna print this. Oops. And we're gonna go over what in the world this is. So help. Let's see here. Let's comment this out. Let's run this, and I want to show you what the documentation. So there we go. So help on cur dot fetch 1. All right, fetches one row from the result set. Not exactly 100%. This documentation is better. Fetches the next row. So this is going to be important because there are two other fetches. So we're going to do fetch 1 because right now we've only written one to it. But this is what we do. We build, we build, we build. So we got to make sure we're subscribing, keeping up with this, and learning as we go. So all right, let's go back. So now we're going to print our fetch 1. So there we go. So we wrote it, we inserted it, and then we fetched it. We did a select statement, and then we fetched it. So this is a little bit of foreshadowing about fetch 1 fetches the next row. It's got some reason for the madness, but there are two other fetches, and we will go through them, and they have reasons, and this will all make sense in the next one. So there we go, guys. That is SQL of how to read the information in a database with a select statement, and there's a lot more to it. You can get pretty fancy with these things, and then we're just gonna go with it. We're gonna have tables connecting, and we're just gonna go all out. And we are just gonna be continuing on with Kivy. So now we're to the point where we're gonna need to start creating different files, and the file names are going to matter. So next video we'll get to the interpreter, the editor, but right now we're just gonna open up a new file. We are going to call it my app So alright, we will go over more later why this is, but whatever you want to name it, just make sure you put app after it, and I'll get to it. Okay, whatever you want to name it plus this. All right, just makes your life easier. So we did this, and I did a little bit of foreshadowing. So import kivy, then help kivy, and so this is super important. If you haven't subscribed yet and hit that notification bell, I gave a little bit of foreshadowing here. So if you haven't seen those videos, you're missing out. But you can catch up real easy. So alright, this is the version of kivy running right now. So this is the super simplest, fastest way, bare bones, require, then our version is 1.11.1. It takes a string. That is to know what version that at the current time you're writing to use. That's why that's important. So then we do our then we learned last time, I think, of from kivy.app import app. Then here we go. Now we're getting, I don't know why I hit capital, I'm sorry guys, I was getting ahead of myself. My app then this is gonna have nothing in here. Now we saw this and we know this. If name equals _main. Now here's one thing we do not know. Alright, let me show you. Import kivy.app. So the only thing new on here is going to be a method off the app class. So dir app. Let's see. I haven't looked. Boom. That's simple. Run. So in our boilerplate here, we're gonna drop in our my app and then the run method. That's the only thing that is new to you right now, and actually this kivy requirement. So this is going to be your first kivy app right now. And if you forget the parentheses, you will not have your kivy app run. And there we go. Boom, my. And you see how it dropped this? There's important details to this, and we're going to go over it at a later time. But you just created your first kivy app. So there we go. Pretty quick video today, and we're just going to build upon this exponentially and do some pretty cool stuff. And we are going to continue on with tkinter. So we've learned how to create a window with tkinter. We've learned how to incorporate a label with tkinter. Now we're going to learn how to incorporate a button, and literally just a button, just like everything like we're used to when we see one of these. Button. Boom. So okay, let's see where we left off last time. So last time we put a label in. We got our, and oh yeah, it was here. So this is how simple. So here is our label, right? That's our label. Goes in, creates, puts our text, boom. This is literally how simple this is. Button, who got the button. Same principle. Alright, we got it. It's literally that easy. Create a button object, and then you pack the button inside the loop and go. And we have no logic, so it recognizes that we're clicking it because that's standard, but we will begin to do more. But creating the button is that simple. Wants to know where to put it, wants to know what you want on the button, and it sizes it for you. It could not be more perfect. Could not be more perfect. Boom, centers it and everything. So I love this. I absolutely love it. And I just can't tell you guys thank you enough. Super short video today, but I just wanted to expose you to it, and we're just gonna go from here. So as always, guys, thanks for watching. Please leave any comments, questions, any video requests below, and I will get right to them. So thanks for watching. Stay tuned. Don't forget to click that subscribe button, everybody, and I don't want you guys getting behind. And we'll see you next time. Bye, guys.